Good morning. On behalf of our pastor, Father Tom Miller, I'm Deacon Tony, and we welcome you here at Immaculate Heart of Mary to celebrate the sacrament of the Eucharist with us. It's a special day. It's great. It feels almost like a springtime again, but tomorrow it'll be cold. You know, I was thinking about this homily and the words of the gospel, and what came to mind to me was, I'm certain that most of us, at one point in time in our lives or another, have either employed people or have been employed by people. And there was that once-a-year thing called the annual review. And we looked forward to it, and at the same time, not so much. Because someone, either us to someone else or us from someone else, would be reviewed for our performance over the past year. And they would usually sit us down, or we would sit someone down, and talk to them about customer satisfaction, how many widgets did you sell, whatever it happens to be that we would rate them on. And maybe we even gave them a form in advance and said, I'd like you to rate yourself, and tell me what you think, and then let's compare notes to see if we have a match. And maybe we'll then discuss where the differences are. I may have a different opinion than you do. And I think for many of us, when we saw the review, we probably were okay with it, maybe not thrilled with the increase that we were about to get, but we were okay with it. But there were occasions when someone hit something in particular that we weren't too pleased about, and we weren't too happy about that. Well, when I read the gospel today, and I read it in advance to prepare my homily, I started to think about the Pharisee. Now, here's a man who really didn't do too badly if you think about it. Took a share of his money and he paid taxes. He tithed. He prayed at least a few times a week. I mean, really, didn't he do well? What kind of a grade would you give him? Would it be an A, or a B, or a C? In his mind, it was an A, because he did all of those things and above some of those things. And that's not too bad. But really, wasn't he always supposed to do those things? So did he deserve an A, or did he deserve a B? Or did he deserve a D? Because what he also did was he looked down on people. He's not like this tax collector. And if you think about the tax collector, many people despise tax collectors. Why? Because they cheated people. See, they had to give a certain amount of money back to Rome, but anything above that went in their pockets. And so they would overcharge people, and many of them became very wealthy because of those extra dollars that went into their pockets. And yet, this tax collector was asking for forgiveness. Forgive me, Lord, I'm a sinner. Wouldn't even raise his eyes to heaven, but rather beat his breast and said, I'm not worthy to even look up towards you. Please forgive me. Well, let's go back to the Pharisee. So what was his sin? I mean, he did all those wonderful things, but he did them without God. Is there such a thing as the sin of pride? When we think we can do all of those things on our own shoulders and really don't need to turn to God. I'm capable of doing those things. So why should I have God in my life? And pride sometimes jumps in our way. Now, I know for guys, I can say it for myself, if I get lost, do I stop and ask for directions? Oh no, I can figure out where I am. I can manage it all by myself. Now, it's not a matter of do I pray to God at that point and say, can you be my MapQuest? No. We'll find a way. We will get there, and eventually maybe I have to pull into a gas station and look for help. But that sin of pride stands in our way at times, and at times it takes away our relationship with God. because we really do need to depend on him for everything. The things that the Pharisee did were things that he was supposed to do, but he forgot that he was given all of those gifts from God. I can do it myself. And if we stop relying on God, sometimes we feel that we are equal to him. And that's a sin. There is only one God. I remember a time in my own life when I was unemployed for a year. And I had a wife, and I had a small daughter. And I did what I could to bring money into the house until I could find a permanent job. And any time my friends and neighbors asked me, how are things going, I said, everything's fine. And everything wasn't fine. But I didn't want to admit it. My close friends, every now and then, would come to the door and leave groceries there for us. And that was a very difficult moment for us to have to accept the groceries. And we finally said, you know, we need help. And we asked for the help. Like they do at St. Vincent de Paul. It's open for people that need help. But it's not always easy to say, I need the help. Because it kind of brings us down a bit. But it also gives us an opportunity, hopefully, to do the things that we need for ourselves and our families, and even for the people at St. Vincent de Paul who are willing to be there to reach out and help. Isn't that, in fact, what we're all supposed to be doing? And so the Pharisee, maybe he had that sin of pride, and the hope is that he overcame it at some point in time, like the tax collector. Oh God, I'm a sinner. Please forgive me.